Congratulations. You found the Twin Cities Hit Show.
Very well. Where do I begin?
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
Let's go! Keep it moving!
Reach for this one.
And now, a real hit show.
We're moving into the valley of the shadow of death, where you will watch the back of the man next to you as he will watch yours.
Live from the Twin Cities.
So let us understand the situation. We are going into battle against a tough and determined enemy.
It's the Twin Cities Hit Show.
I can't promise you that I will bring you all home alive. But this, I swear, before you and before Almighty God, that when we go into battle, I will be the first to set foot on the field, and I will be the last to step off, and I will leave no one behind. Dead or alive, we will all come home together.
Let's get this hit show started.
Oh, beautiful.
That's right. It's Memorial Weekend already.
Let's get this Memorial Day hit show started.
Very patriotic. Well done.
When I was a kid, it was all about the barbecues and the
Yes.
summer's finally going to begin. But we really
Isn't
do
it
have,
still?
It is, but
Yeah.
we do have to remember what the weekend
Right.
is supposed to be. It's supposed to be in memory of all those men and women who served our country. Because Ray Charles doing a live version of, in my opinion, the best version of this song.
It's not my favorite.
It's not your favorite? It's
I
very
say that about
pleasant.
everything. I love it. It's not my favorite.
You're just a professional not liker of things, Chuck, is what
You
it
have
is.
no idea this shit that is going to spew out of my mouth today.
Everyone's got a gig. Anyway, so yeah, here we go. It sounds like the weather is half the weekend may cooperate.
Yeah.
I know we've got a couple of barbecues planned,
Oh,
so
look at
we
you.
will be doing that. Yeah, we
Oh, yeah. That's weird. I didn't get any messages from you.
Yeah, strange thing. You're not invited. So
This Jew eats pork.
Oh,
Yeah, so
All right.
I'll
Well, I don't think he was worried about whether you're going to eat the food. He was worried about whether you're going to bring any
I
food.
think it's more worried that I'm just going to be there.
there is that. There's that. So yeah, this it seems like it came up fast, didn't it? Memorial Weekend already.
I know. The time is flying. I think the fact that we've had only a few days of questionable weather has made it seem like kind of thing. Like, I mean, usually you're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for there to be nice weather. It's been so miserable the last few years. This one, we're like, okay. We've had some reprieves. There's been all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a while back there in April where we were hitting 80 for a couple of days.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay. But then recently, yeah.
This is what happens when you live someplace human and the state is not trying to kill you. So thank you, Minnesota.
Thank you, Minnesota.
Are you saying you guys don't have Memorial Weekend celebrations planned or things to do? Or
They're filming a
What
damn
is-
movie at my house. I got about 20 seconds of sleep last night.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll do something with the kiddo, but it's not a
Yeah.
big deal. Like,
No?
we'll go figure something out.
Oh,
So-
you don't have a Memorial Day tradition weekend
No,
tradition?
no. So, I mean, it's probably one of those, my mom will be like, well, if you want to come over, I'll grill. Like it'll be one of those things.
Well, that sounds
It's very-
exciting.
I know, it's very loose. There's
I
not
don't
a,
mean
we're
to
not,
sound excited, but if you show up or whatever.
Right. We're not going anyplace. We're not wandering in around.
I think for a lot of those cabin owners, this is the weekend where they go up and they put the dock
Okay.
in and they get the cabin ready for the summer. To me, that just sounds like a lot of work.
Ah.
Let me know, friends with cabins, when it's ready,
and then you're all in.
then I'll come up.
Well, what about you, Gate and B? Is there like a Gate and B family tradition on this holiday weekend?
For me, I'm a big traditionalist. 4th of July, you got to go see fireworks. Christmas, you put up the tree. On Memorial Weekend, you got to do some sort of
I do
picnic
the big
barbecue.
things. I do the Thanksgiving, I do the Christmas and the Halloween things.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
but those in between, like July 4th, yeah, we'll go see fireworks, maybe.
Yeah.
Now
No,
that I have a
I have
kid,
to.
like if I didn't, if If he doesn't, if
Oh,
he's
yeah.
not, if it's the July 4th that he's with his dad, I don't go see the fireworks.
Yeah. Well,
and I know, and like this year, because this year he is going to be with his dad. I'm not going to see. I'm going to be at Convergence. Like there's a sci-fi convention that happens in the Twin Cities over July 4th weekend, and so I'm going to be there. Kind of thing.
Well,
That screams 4th of July.
It's going to be very festive. We'll
You'll
be
be in a-
costumes. We'll be cosplaying.
In
That'll
a
be great.
darkened venue.
Yes, there'll be
No
cocktails.
sunshine.
I
no-
like this
Yes,
celebration.
there's
So I could
cocktails.
get in
And we
on
have a
this.
good time.
This is a breaking tradition this year. This is the first year where I won't have a fight with my significant other on Memorial Day.
Oh, wow.
Very excited to actually enjoy it.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
good.
I may even sleep in the house this year. So pretty excited about that.
Your life is rough.
Yeah,
You're
you have
very
no
rough.
idea.
Well, I thought we have a guest coming in, right? On today's show, we got
Yes, we do.
first of all, it's the Twin Cities Hit Show. I'm Rusty.
Oh
J.
yeah, there's that. I'm Chuck Up. And this is the Twin Cities Hit Show.
Yes, and I'm Miss Shannon. Happy
And-
Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, and speaking of summer, it sounds like it's an official go. We will be going out to Dex
Yes.
Nice.
this summer. We've got sponsorship.
excited.
We're going to celebrate outdoors, and we'll have more information on that to
And
follow.
just-
Not
To
just
help
one
you two.
sponsor, but these sponsors. I don't want to. I'll stay a little cryptic here because I don't know what's officially announced. We're going to be a deck show.
Nice.
Appreciating live music on one of my favorite patios to listen to music. Where our very own Tim Mahoney has performed in the past.
lovely.
So more details to follow.
And
but
I appreciate all of our real sponsors, but
Yes.
I will be the ad hoc sponsor of sunscreen for you two because I feel like you will be miserable bastards. If
I'll
you
take
get,
you up on that.
Yes, because if you get fried, then I'll have to put up with you, and you're like, we're itchy and my skin hurts. And
Rusty's a miserable bastard anyway. It's nothing to do with the sun. But you know, the
So I
other
will
neat thing,
help.
we have two more sponsors. One sounds like they're going to be a cab company. So we're talking safe rides home for people.
Yeah, yeah.
One is a beer sales place. So
It's perfect.
I feel like it's a good
Complimentary.
pairing.
Mm-hmm.
Come on,
It's
get wasted, get a ride
perfect.
home, and
Yeah, and we'll have fun.
looking forward to Thursdays.
And it sounds like there's more than one deck interested in us, so this summer we're going to get rolling.
battle to the death.
Bring it
Dex.
on.
Hey.
This is a hot commodity here, Dex. We should do. We'll hold a bachelorette show for the Dex. Deck number one. Let's say that the Twin Cities Hit Show is on your deck and it's sunny. What level of sunscreen do you apply? Deck number two.
Which
Yeah.
deck will get a rose? Yeah.
I think we're just like Scarlett. We're sluts. We'll do all the decks.
You just want me mad at
Yeah,
you.
but Shannon's
I'm
bringing the
still mad about
protection.
that.
Shannon's bringing the protection, so we'll
Still
be safe
mad.
no matter how many decks we do.
So we've got a comedian coming in, Joe
Lovitt.
Lovitt.
Yeah, Stevie Ray guy. He's
Yes.
he's been
He's
around
a
a long
great
time.
comedian, great actor, great improver.
Not Lyle Lovitt.
No.
Oh.
Joe Lovitt.
Completely different hairdo.
Yeah.
He's some have accused him of being a sister of Lyle Lovitt. That's not true. That's
Oh.
been debunked.
Yikes. And then
I don't know. Someone who's gender confused.
I thought as well, Entertainment Magazine comes out with predictions of what they think will be the summer song of the year. So I thought we would vote and sample some of these songs.
Okay.
And we'll decide. We've been okay on our predictions.
We're 50-50.
Half the room got
Yeah.
the voice predicted,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We'll see how we do.
Oh,
with
he
the,
rubbed that in our face, by the way.
Oh yeah, Tom Smith, the
Yeah.
mortgage guy. Movies coming out. Chuck and I got to meet the star of the new Tomorrowland movie.
Nice.
That's Disney's Tomorrowland with George Clooney. We went and met her,
Oh.
Britt Robertson. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
a little sound from her when
She
we.
didn't call me.
Well,
Imagine that.
but to start things off, of course, last night, a big night.
My fellow Americans, our long national nightmare is over.
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 Our long national nightmare is over. Letterman is retiring.
You're just kidding, right?
The president shrugs. He had four current presidents
Right.
chime in: Bush Sr., Bush Jr., Clinton, and of course Obama. And trivia: where the original clip was file footage from President Ford. Do you know where that speech came from?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what the genesis or physically?
Yeah, that line.
That was when Nixon was, I don't want to say
Yeah.
put to rest, but his first day in office.
There you go.
After
Look
Nixon.
at you.
Well, here's
Smart.
what happened. I put that up as a joke to talk about some recent legal proceedings.
Oh, jeez.
And I'm like, I had to Google the genesis. I'm like, hey, that's really interesting.
Our long national nightmare is over.
Here's the thing that I really liked about the final show for David Letterman. The fact that he stayed so true to himself, and he did the ones that he tried to stay funny and very, and keep it, positive and fun and lighthearted. And he did some things that he would really enjoy, and it wasn't this overly like Johnny Carson. I think it made sense that it was like this end of an era and a historic thing, maybe. But with like the Jay Leno one, it was just so sappy, and the fact that he chose to go, here's some fun things and how I would like to go out and I appreciate it versus everybody sit around and cry because I'm retiring. So I liked that about the final show.
It was so well done, and our very own Sean Bernard tweeted out last night just as the show is starting. Oh God, he tweets a lot. I'm trying to.
This is what the Foo Fighters ended with, by the way. Yeah. This is from last night as well.
Everlong.
God, he tweets a lot.
Awesome montage to that.
Some of the effect of waiting for David Letterman to start, already sitting on the couch, breaking tears and eating ice cream.
Yes.
And see here, I think it is not quite Johnny Carson level, but it's certainly television history that happened last night.
Yeah.
I mean, 33 years.
Yeah.
That doesn't get achieved every day.
But there's speculation where people are going, do you think we'll see him on TV again? And I don't.
I don't either.
I think that I appreciated what Jimmy Fallon had said about how he was an inspiration to him, about Jimmy Kimmel who choked up talking about it, because Jimmy Kimmel shared a story about how he goes, the reason I have my show is because the executives saw him perform on Letterman and then gave him the show. Yeah. So, I think that now we are in such a time, having people make destination programming for a late night TV show isn't what we do. And then David Letterman addressed some of that last night, I think. And that's where I think is historic, because now if you're a Jimmy Fallon or a Jimmy Kimmel, yes, you care about what you're doing on your show, but you're also trying to compete for people who live on their smartphones and are really just looking for what clip are you going to have that goes viral.
Dave was never that.
Right, and he's not. And so, and that's why I think Stephen Colbert will have, obviously, he's, a whole different type of...
Genesis.
Yeah, but he's actually going to be able, I think, compete well in that world, because we do pay a lot of attention to what kind of content he creates that we can watch the next day and you can have live, out in that social media world.
Early Dave would have gone viral. I argue the watermelons being dropped and exploding.
He did do some stuff that would have.
That
you're right.
would have gone viral, but then he kind of changed, and his show became less shticky and field pieces, which I love those early Lettermans when he would go in the hallway and he would go to the restaurant and he would go to the drive-thru and harass people. And all that was shown last night. It was great.
You know what I like, and the reason I know he won't be back unless he changes his heart, and you might have missed it, but he said one thing. As he was closing, he goes, "This is my last time saying this on television. Thank you all. Have a good night." And that is an absolute period on what he's done. And I was teared up, not just because of what he did. And I haven't watched the show in years. I think he's brilliant. I just always thought he'll always be here. I can always catch it. It's always funny, but there's always something else going on. But what hit me as a performer and someone who wants to matter to something is, and I felt this way when I left law enforcement, I'm done. I mean, and that's what David Letterman did. I'm done. I will not come back to this. And
I am willing to bet money he comes back, not with his own show, but he remembers how awesome it felt to have Johnny Carson show up in his show a couple times.
Yeah.
He's going to do that to somebody.
Oh, yeah.
He'll do that.
Yes.
And then I bet you he does a touring show where he comes to the State Theater and does an interview with Garrison Keillor.
I could see him doing something like that, or
corporates, or graduation.
What I think, I think he'll write a book, kind of thing. It'll be I write a book, and you do things like that. And I think one of the things, along with the star-studded celebrity top 10 list that he did last night, because everybody came out to do that.
Yeah.
And,
I'm going to play that.
By the way, that was 70% SNL right there.
Yeah.
What's that?
That top 10 list, 70% SNL.
Great.
Yeah. I also like the fact that he said, the thing that's going to be that's going to suck now, I'm paraphrasing, was that from now on when I mess up, I'm going to have to go and apologize on other people's show. I like that.
Referencing some of the scandals.
Yeah.
I thought this was very cool. Conan. Here's what was going on over on Conan, because he was one of the few who actually did a show.
Yeah.
But here's what was going on over on Conan.
How close are we now? Steve, that's you. 45 seconds?
This is death.
No.
Can we cut that out? Let's not have that in the segment.
Which part?
This is death.
Oh, this is death? People watching TV love to hear a guy look into the camera say, "This is death." That kills in the Midwest. What are you talking about?
I couldn't resist. I love that.
Recognizing that no one's
people to
watching.
switch the channel.
I know, I've
You know
never
what?
done that. I haven't done that in all my years on the air, but tonight, this is a worthwhile thing to do. What time? Are we getting there? What's that? It's time. Okay, it's now 11:35.
Oh.
Record us, but switch to Dave. Bye.
The graphic flashing on the screen. Turn on Dave. Turn on Dave.
But hit record.
My
That-
bosses would have killed me if I had ever done anything recognizing the competition.
That's what I was
Well,
going to
I
say.
think
This is
that's
one of
why-
the classiest things I've seen in television.
Yeah.
The fact that they talked about it ahead of time and the way they were doing. Not only do I think that it's respectful, but it's also just that's a cool stunt. Like,
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
gonna do that, because that
He
made
gained
him
props.
stay. Yeah, you stayed relevant because of what you did that way, instead of looking like it was like, oh yeah, I want to compete with this guy. It's like, no, this is something that we should. This is a milestone for all of us, and having all of the young guys do that, and the way he did it versus, I thought it was really clever and very what a Conan O'Brien would do. Versus, I'm just gonna do reruns. Like him being able to say, no, doing reruns is lazy. I'm still gonna do my show, but I'm gonna tell you to go to watch something else.
Yeah, that was very awesome and cool and ballsy. All right, here's the top 10. I edited it down, but I kept everyone in. It was a star-studded
Top 10 things I've always wanted to say to Dave. Number 10, Alec Baldwin.
Of all the talk shows, yours is most geographically convenient to my home.
Number 9, Barbara Walters.
Dave, did you know that you wear the same cologne as Muammar Gaddafi?
Yes, Barbara. Number 8, Steve Martin.
Your extensive plastic surgery was a necessity and a mistake.
Number 7, Jerry Seinfeld.
Dave, I have no idea what I'll do when you go off the air. I just thought of something. I'll be fine.
I love that one.
Thank you, Jerry. Number 6, Jim Carrey.
Honestly, Dave, I've always found you to be a bit of an overactor.
And then he messes up his hair and
Very cute.
cleans it up.
And he looks like a Unabomber.
Number 5, Chris Rock.
I'm just glad your show is being given to another white guy.
Well played, Chris. Well played.
Don't. Dave responds.
I had nothing to do with that. Number 4, Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Thanks for letting me take part in another hugely disappointing series finale.
And then Seinfeld looks at her sideways.
It's a great visual, like, what?
Number 3, Peyton Manning.
He really loved
Dave, you are to comedy what I am to comedy.
I guess because Indianapolis Colts and he follows the team.
Number 2, Tina Fey.
Thanks for finally proving men can be funny.
And she does a goofy walk back to the line.
Sexy goofy walk.
Yeah. Shaking a shimmy in her shoulders.
I like that. Things I've always wanted to say to Dave. Number 1, Bill Murray, ladies and gentlemen.
Dave, I'll never have the money I owe you.
Random and obscure, just as it should be. Now, here's where I disagree and where I was disappointed. I was ready to cry. I wanted that moment.
Yeah.
I wanted him to choke up and say, whatever. I wanted that Johnny Carson moment when Johnny choked up. I wanted that Jimmy Kimmel moment when Jimmy Kimmel could barely get through his thoughts. I wanted Dave to choke up, and then when
his style.
when it ended,
others to suffer, Rusty.
when it ended, I was like, what? It's like the movie Jaws without seeing the shark. I wanted to see the shark.
No. That's right. If you just want to tear up just to get it off your chest, you can just cry this morning. You want to start crying?
No, that's right.
I have some tissue.
It was gross. It was so
Then I use
tasteful.
tissue. What's wrong with you?
Okay, well, it just sounded that way. I thought it was so tastefully done, and I
Yeah.
think as much as David Letterman.
I mean, I'm jesting only a little bit. I did want him to. I wanted to see him.
You didn't want
I think he did choke up because that's as much as you will ever see David Letterman choke up in public. That's as much as you will see.
Well, I mean, he got quite emotional after 9/11.
Yeah.
That
Well.
speech was.
Oh, God. Really?
Yeah.
He's supposed to. But
He got very emotional after his heart surgery.
Yeah.
He brought the surgeons out.
And that
I mean,
came
he
back
sincerely
tonight, or last
choked
night.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, overall, it was a great episode. And I had a friend who was in the audience, and he texted me right away. This thing is going over.
Yeah.
It's going over like 17 minutes, so I put the alert out on Facebook. Very cool that the network allowed that to happen.
Yeah.
But, why not? What are you going to do?
Yeah, why cut this off?
Yeah.
What else you got? Go with it.
Hey, way to go, NBC, letting that show go. Seriously.
Do not look over, but someone has joined the studio.
You always act like people sneak up on us.
Hey, Chuck, who's here then?
Joe Lovitt.
Who's
Joe
our
Lovitt.
surprise guest
Yes.
today?
Welcome, Joe Lovitt.
Hey, thanks. It's
Yeah,
nice
you're
to
much
be
better
here.
looking in person.
I wanted because you're in the comedy world. What did you watch the show, or what's your opinion on Letterman and his place?
I watched it last night, and I kind of felt like I've been left out of the party the last couple of weeks because I work early in the morning, and so I've been watching it on CBS.com, and there's no way to feel like one of the animals Noah left behind by the ark than by watching a cultural milestone 10 hours after everybody else. So, but
well,
yeah,
think about
I
us
really
talking
enjoyed
about
last
it
night's show.
afterwards. So.
I had drifted away from Letterman. I was a diehard in the early days. I was saying earlier, I liked the earlier Letterman. Is a different show.
Okay, now how
than the
early? Are
middle.
you talking the NBC morning show?
I saw that as
Because
well.
I was a freak about that.
Yeah, I
was
saw that as well.
Before my senior year in high school, I watched that all
really?
summer long.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And during commercials, my girlfriend and I would be on the phone with each other going, is anybody else watching
Yeah,
this?
oh, that's right. I saw your post yesterday,
Yeah.
and I was going to mention that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you, Joe, by the way, and for those who didn't see it, or if you follow him, it was on Facebook, I think.
Mm-hmm.
He put out a great post, a very nice narrative of exactly what he said, that no one really was watching the show, and they'd be on the phone, and then on commercial breaks, they'd break the silence and go, okay, this is great. Did you see that? No one else is watching this. We're watching history. Yeah, I mean, that is just really cool. I liked your post.
Yeah, and he was one of the first people, everyone talks about, okay, the Alka-Seltzer suit and the suit made of sponges
Steve
and
Allen.
the stupid pet tricks. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
some stuff like that was done before, but I liked the, when he would answer letters from viewers.
Yeah.
And not give a damn about them at all. it was just like, how can I make sure this person never watches me again? Because his morning band used to play this song by Paul McCartney called "Coming Up," and it was, it was an okay, yeah. And
that does not make me want to listen to that song at all. Oh my God.
I don't think Paul wants to listen to it anymore.
Okay.
And so his band overdid that song a lot, and someone wrote in and say, if I hear your band playing Coming Up, one more time, I am never going to watch you again. And Dave just went, this is going out to you.
Yeah. So you agree with the accolades that he's getting?
Absolutely. I mean, I was a big Carson fan. I was a Letterman fan. And I forget who it was years ago who said the big difference between David Letterman and Jay Leno. And the reason that Jay Leno was not a worthy successor to Johnny Carson was because Leno was a stand-up. Carson and Letterman started as broadcasters.
Yeah.
And when you're doing interviews like that, when you're behind a desk, when you're running that kind of a show, there's a talent, there's a finessing that goes on that a broadcaster understands more than a stand-up.
Do you relate to Jimmy Kimmel when you were watching? Were you like inspired to get into comedy?
Jimmy Kimmel?
Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel has a whole thing.
Oh,
Letterman,
absolutely,
he was
yes.
watching the early Letterman that motivated him to do his...
Absolutely, among handfuls of others, but yeah, because, like I said, Letterman was a broadcaster, and I originally was a journalism major.
Uh-huh.
And, and so we kind of entered the business from the same... Oh, there's that song. I need to be alone for a few minutes. Now, do you have to play McCartney for this? Because I think that's the only reason he would claim this song.
He's a fan of the show.
So this was okay, what was this on the show?
The morning shows.
Theme song?
For
No, it
Letterman.
wasn't the
So you
theme
would-
song. They would use this as bumper music. Going
Oh,
into
okay.
commercials.
It's very peppy for a morning
It
show.
is.
I can see
But
that.
the thing is, the live version was a hit. The studio
Okay.
version, everyone kind of
Thought was all tinny and
acknowledged
weird?
was a turd.
Okay.
And they didn't play it anymore. And even McCartney still
Until they
plays
found out
stuff. So.
it was a turd. Thank you, Joe.
Well, we're going to talk about some things. First of all, what's coming up this weekend, things to do this weekend. Greg Fitzsimmons is in town for a couple of shows at Mystic Lake. Are we fans of Greg?
Yeah.
I've opened for Greg.
Oh.
Love Greg.
Same thing. Great guy.
I vote for Greg. He's a dick.
No, that could be the story.
Oh, yeah, could be the
Not like
story.
I haven't owned for people like Jesus Lord.
But would you get
can
on
I
the show and
leave?
say it?
Some of them, yes.
Only Mariah Carey is the
Some
only
of
one I'll
them.
ever speak badly of.
Yeah, there are some people that I'd be like, he was horrible, and don't go pay to see it.
For folks who don't know who he is, here's a moment of Greg.
Football season, a little scandalous this year. A lot of crazy shit going on. Washington Redskins, should they be able to call themselves the Redskins? I don't know. Yeah, yes. Some people say no. I think that they should be able to. But then they can only draft actual Native Americans to play for the team. Right? Think about that. That would be a badass football team. Just imagine 11 screaming Navajos coming down the field. And they would have the best defense in the league because they are not giving up any more territory. That's right.
Ooh.
But that's what it should be. Whatever your team says they are, that's what they should have to be. If you're the San Francisco 49ers, your entire team should be 49-year-old men. That's it. Just in the huddle complaining about hemorrhoids and bad backs, losing every Sunday.
Got to get to the Vikings.
Teams like the Vikings, like real Vikings. Horns coming out of the helmet, and they come out and they rape all the cheerleaders because they're Vikings.
That almost happens. So anyway, he's at Mystic Lake for 3 nights, I think, starting tomorrow.
My favorite Fitzsimmons bit was when he was talking about watching songwriters on MTV or VH1,
Right.
VH1 songwriters, and the lead singer was showing guitars,
Mhm.
his collection, and he said, you know what? With a guitar like this, the songs practically write themselves. Oh, sure. Blame the guitar.
There's a guitarist in town. Anyone a fan of Jeff Beck? He's in town this weekend. No, Jeff Beck, old school guitarist.
I'm just blinking. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, he's in town.
I was never a super fan or anything, but I know his stuff. And
If you're a guitar person,
Yeah.
he's considered one of the best guitarists.
Where's he
around.
performing?
State Theater, I
Okay.
believe. I got my
appropriately sized venue, judging from the reaction of everyone on the panel here.
I started looking around like, am I supposed to be excited? That doesn't mean that he's not great. It just means that I'm like, okay.
By the way, he's a guest on Tuesday. For
He's right behind you. There's a
and oddly enough, he'll be closing with "Coming Up" by Paul McCartney.
There's a music festival at, let me get this right, at Canterbury
Park
on
yeah.
Sunday.
You saw, all of a sudden I perked up. I'm like, okay, I know about that one.
Yeah. And
Shannon,
what I
would you
didn't
like to
realize that Atmosphere, Minneapolis.
But the Soundset, you're talking about Soundset.
Yeah.
Soundset actually, this is the biggest hip hop music festival that's still going on right now, and it started with Rhyme Sayer Records. So Atmosphere, POS, all those guys that work here, that they're all involved in it. You know, they have some great. I mean, it's really blown up where it used to be mostly just a local hip hop music festival, and now that's why you're having the Ludacris and the Yellow Wolves and all these other people come through towns because of all the work the Rhyme Sayers did. So it's great to see our local guys just really like not just create the scene, but now the scene has blown up even beyond this market. So, and the other thing that they do at Soundset that's really cool is a lot of time when you go to these music festivals, they're like competing stages. You have to pick, well, who am I going to see? And what they do is they have alternating performances. So you get to, so if you're in there, you get to see all of the performances. And there's some great people this year.
Big Sean, the name I recognize. Ludacris, of course, I recognize. Ice Cube, I recognize. But
yeah.
Atmosphere, I guess I've been out of the loop. That's a Minnesota band.
Yeah.
Or a Minnesota group.
Yes.
What do we call them?
All of the, well, we can call them group, kind of thing. But Atmosphere, all of those guys will be there. And so Rhyme Sayer Records is, they've been doing great work for years.
What clubs do they play?
In town? All of them.
Do they do First Avenue then?
Yeah, so you can see them at First Ave a lot, and they'll, sometimes they do group shows, and you can see each of them individually pop up. So I mean, I'm
not a
awesome.
rap person, but I
Okay.
like this.
Yeah.
It has some
I'll let you know.
musicality to it.
They all do. Great lyrics. They do a lot in the community still as well. They've gave a lot of artists a chance to really get out there and do a lot of really awesome work. So next time, one of the guys is performing over at First Ave, be like, Rusty, we should go see your show. I'll make sure we get us on the show.
Yeah,
you'll have a good time.
Get him on this show.
All right, I'll talk to him.
No big thing. I'll talk to him.
Yeah.
No big thing.
Well, damn, I can. I got to think.
Movie opening up this weekend, Disney's Tomorrowland with George Clooney.
It ticks by. The future is running out.
Well, that sounds like a happy family movie. Bring
It
the
actually
kids.
is.
Give them anxiety.
It's not mine.
If you've seen the trailer.
The pen.
No, I've seen the movie.
Oh, really?
And tomorrow on WCCO morning, you'll be able to see my review, or just click on the Rest of the Game Me review. We've got interviews with the female star. In fact, Chuck and I got to meet. Her name is Britt Robertson, and she was just in The Longest Ride, that Nicholas Sparks
thing that I avoided.
I was going to say, was
Avoid euphemism.
Was the longest ride in Chuck's car? Because it sounds like Chuck was highly inappropriate.
Longest ride was in my mind.
Here's what Britt had to say about George Clooney.
I've heard of George Clooney.
Big one. Yes, he does exist in this world. A few people know his name, I think.
I mean, so do you have butterflies? You're like, oh my gosh, this is actually happening. I'm now going to be at that level of career.
No, I don't think I'll have a George Clooney career. I mean, no one's ever going to have a George Clooney career, and that's all I can really ask for myself is just to have my own unique version of whatever it may be, and that's the fun part, right? Just figuring out what's to come.
Well,
isn't she gracious?
Yes. I mean, I hope she didn't think, are you to become a dude and look like George Clooney? No, I meant, will you star and have box office movies like George Clooney?
She sounded like she did not feel you at all. Like she was like.
The funny part is, in The Longest Ride, she plays kind of a college student who, has a sexual relationship. In this movie that is coming out after, she plays like a ninth grader.
You can't go back.
It is. It's opposite. It's like, wait a second.
We've already seen a man have his way with you. And it wasn't Clooney.
I mean, yeah, Judy Garland couldn't do Wizard of Oz after doing
A Star is Born.
Star is Born. It just wouldn't work.
She's like, I'm an actress. I can do whatever I want. Don't worry about
Julie
me.
Andrews could never expose
The man
her
that
chest
got
with her-
away and then somewhere over the rainbow. I don't know if you can do that. Anyway, so I was a little hung up on, wait a second. You were just all naked in a shower earlier this spring.
Barbiturates and then Ovaltine? Come on.
Well, now I have no problem with that. Who's driving?
That would be like Julie Andrews baring her breasts after being on Sound of Music. I mean, could you
SOB,
imagine?
yes. Yeah. Oh, that was.
It would have to be the other way.
No, she did that.
I know. I'm
it's
saying
not
the
that
other way
long.
around
Yeah.
is what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
If she had
So
bared her
she'd
breasts
had
and
to
then
show
done
her
Mary
titties
Poppins?
and then gone
Yeah.
to Mary Poppins.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, wait a second. How can you? I just saw your boobs like a few months ago. How can you be Mary Poppins now?
Yeah, like all these ex-girlfriends of mine, like, you can't be famous on Twitter now.
And you're succeeding.
Damn it, I just gave it credibility.
It'd be like watching a porn star doing Sophie's Choice now.
Right.
There was several years ago, there was a reality TV show where they took porn stars and they brought them to some directors in London and who were trying to get them to be
For real actresses?
In Shakespeare, doing Shakespeare.
Oh. How many of
And
them
I
did
ran
well?
into
Because
a
a
friend
couple
of
of them can't act-ish.
No.
It's just because here's the real reason I say can't act-ish is that a couple of them have transitioned into some sci-fi movies and sci-fi TV shows, and C+, kind of thing. So it didn't mean much. So it was all right.
This was the soundtrack to Macbeth with Tracy Lords.
Well, I saw this. It was called Hamluke, and it's playing on...
I
Before
remember
Hamlet
running
alone.
into a friend of mine who he and his partner were watching this show religiously, and they were talking about, well, we like this girl for this one, and this girl for this, and we like this girl for this, but guess which one we're rooting for to win? And I said, I don't know. And he goes, the one with the biggest boobs.
Oh, jeez.
Of course.
What did they win?
I think an appearance in a legitimate Shakespearean production in London.
Outstanding.
If I'm not mistaken.
To do or not to do anal? That is the question.
To go pink or not to go pink. Oh, wait, that was Hefner's problem.
Well, we're gonna take a break, and then Joe, when we come back, we want to learn more about you.
Oh, that's a mistake.
Oh, is it? All right, good. The show's been a big mistake. And then you're going to take part. We're going to vote according to Entertainment Magazine each summer, Memorial Weekend, unofficial start of summer. You're going to have a barbecue.
I'm going to a friend's barbecue.
Oh, can we come? I have two, but I've
put in
room for a
good
third
word
one.
for you.
All right.
He's got a lawn about the size of a postage stamp, so it's going to be pretty tight.
Intimate, very intimate.
But it's going to be raining, so I imagine it's going to be a kitchen party.
Yeah, Minnesota Memorial Weekend. They come out with what they think is going to be the song of the summer. We're going to play some of those, and we'll vote, we'll decide what the song of the summer. All right, we're going to be right back.
The Twin Cities Hit Show. We'll be right back.
MacMen. Don't let your computer problems drive you mad. We are MacMen, Minnesota's premier tech consultants and problem solvers for Macs, mobile devices, troubleshooting, training, and much more. No more dragging your computer all over town because we come to you. We love making house calls to your home or small business. MacMen. Call 612-345-8005. The Alive and Social Network is alive and growing. From the best in sports, music, movies, and beer, Alive and Social is what all the cool kids click on. Featuring characters like Radio Rebel Jeff Dubay, Star Tribune pundit Jim Suhan, Unfiltered, and television veteran and handsome man Rusty Gatenby. You can also taste the Minnesota Pubcast with Jason and Molly. Join the band with live band karaoke night from legendary O'Gara's in St. Paul and the live music showcase from Shamrocks. Yes, Alive and Social Network does indeed rock and roll. The Jeff DeBay Show, Jim Suhan Unfiltered, the Rusty Gatenby Review, the Minnesota Pubcast with Jason and Molly, live band karaoke, and Shamrock's live music showcase. Join the fun. Be alive and social with the Alive and Social Network.
Hey everybody, this is comedian Paul Mercurio, and I'm very excited to say that I packed up my podcast, The Paul Mercurio Show, which wasn't my first choice for a name. My first choice was Go Ahead, Touch It, but apparently that didn't test well. Well, I'm taking my podcast and I'm moving it to the Alive and Social Network, which is weird because I'm neither alive nor very social. I've interviewed a few people you might know, like Sir Paul McCartney. Yeah, that guy. He was in a band or something. I'm not sure. Stephen Colbert, Bob Costas, Jay Leno, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kristen Chenoweth, and many, many more. I've won Emmy and Peabody Awards for my work on The Daily Show. I've had my own Comedy Central special, been on HBO, and I'm excited to be part of the new network. The Paul Mercurio Show is available on iTunes, Android, and available at paulmercurio.com. Listen to my show every week. Every week you will get rich. How? I give you a foolproof method to go out and make $100,000 without ever leaving your couch. Okay, that's a lie, but the podcast, it's good.
You're listening to the Twin Cities Hit Show. Say it fast 3 times. We just dare you.
From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee.
Yeah, screw Tennessee.
And you had me, then you lost me.
We're just doing patriotic stuff, trying to remind folks that Memorial Day is more than just going to a barbecue in a small backyard. You're supposed to remember all those soldiers.
But please tell me it's more than this song.
You know the history of this song?
Please,
you're a hater on this
break
song?
My heart. I do not like anything that is so cloying and so obvious.
I'm going to drag you out.
This song plays during my father's wet dream.
Hey, Joe, I would gladly stand up.
As would I.
Next to you. And I would defend her. Whatever the next line is.
As would I if I had not gone to college.
The thing here's the thing I love about Joe, is that Joe is the most talented person that you've never heard of on like TV or a movie.
Yeah.
Because he's like, when you see like B list like people in a movie, and I'm like, Joe could have done that. Why isn't he in that movie? Or like singing a song like this. I'm like, Joe could have sung it because he can sing and he's an excellent actor. And I've seen him in stuff that I'm like, this is a piece of garbage, but Joe's good in it. And that kind of stuff. So whenever he doesn't like something, I will give him a pass on not liking it because he probably could have done it a little bit better. And he just didn't. He just went to college and got married and had kids right away and then stayed in Minnesota.
Idiot.
What a douche.
So it's always funny. I'm like, fair enough.
Well, the funny
That's
thing,
fine.
too, is I was telling this before, and I don't want to speak out of turn, but you and I did a thing together, a room in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And your comedy was very edgy. It was not what I expected. It was great. It was fun.
Don't encourage him.
But was it dirty?
No, but
There
it was.
we go. Okay.
It
It's
was
dirty for
yeah.
him.
Well,
Yeah.
you got to remember the room we were in, because I think
Mhm.
I was the second cleanest comic.
Exactly.
Yeah, and everyone else
Wow.
was like, "Hello, penis, weed,
Vagina,
poop, poop, poop,
anal,
poop."
anal,
Yeah.
anal.
And Joe, I like doing shows in the middle of nowhere with Joe because like middle of nowhere, like cougars love Joe Lovitt.
Yeah.
Like he throws on a blazer and they're like, ooh, I have a beet farm in the back. I'd like you to come and see. And I'm like, oh my God, let me move out of the way.
Speaking in the middle of
Which
nowhere.
makes me so successful working the drive-through at Caribou.
Speaking in the middle of nowhere, they love this song in the middle of nowhere. God damn it! So here's the thing I find interesting. It came out in 1984. It was just a mild hit.
Yeah.
But then, after the Gulf War in 1990 and 91, so we're talking 7 years later, then it skyrocketed. And guess what? It wasn't done. After 9/11, it topped the charts again.
It's like the pitch perfect of patriotic songs.
Wow.
It just tanks the first time out, but by God, you keep bringing it back and bringing
And
it
then-
back.
And then put it in a
Teenagers.
pickup truck commercial and all
Do you
of a sudden
think,
they're good.
do you
You know
think
what?
Lee Greenwood, in his private of private moments, looks in the mirror and goes, "Thank you, go for it."
Well, no, what the? I have never listened to the words.
You didn't know the words?
I didn't know this was.
Goes, you whore. You made it that obvious, and they still bought it.
I just didn't know this was a patriotic song. I've never listened to the words.
Get out.
I thought this
You've
was
been
a
so
song about a.
you've been so busy
Yeah.
dancing, or what?
Yeah, well, I thought this was about a boy and his dog.
Stand up, and then the fireworks happen.
Oh, yeah.
The
Okay.
fireworks come and the Blue Angels fly
Okay.
over the stadium. That's what happens. in
Yeah.
the song.
Okay. No, this
Farm
makes
wife meets her
sense
husband
now.
at the door with a chicken leg.
Exactly. There's yellow ribbons everywhere in the video. Jeez.
There's a divorce lawyer chasing a guy through a backyard. There's a police beating in the front yard. There's
Chuck supports
drone strike in
Chuck
the garage.
supports the war, not the soldiers.
Jeez, Gallup.
There's a distressed
That's for
flag
you, Holly.
waving
Gallup.
somewhere.
Gallup kind of thing.
So you sing as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. And how does that work?
I was never in choir or anything like that, but I own a shower. I can sing.
But do
And,
you
I've been in a few musicals.
He's been in musicals. And he's like, yeah. What did you do? Like, Joseph.
Well, I've done the
and
Music
stuff
Man.
like the
That's
Music
where I
Man.
met
You
my
did Joseph.
wife.
Mhm.
And she played Mary, and I played Harold Hill, and that's when we fell in love.
Did you have trouble? Trouble
right here in River City.
Mary,
More trouble going on backstage. But
Madam Librarian never was on the
around, but I never heard them singing. No, I never heard them at all till there were Jews.
Oh, yeah.
My people. I
Splash.
can't.
Splash.
Yeah.
That was
I have
nice.
bronchitis, so I'm a great accompaniment for you.
Oh, I'm over here trying not to hack. I'm the only
Miss Shannon
person-
was
I'm the
swooning.
only
I,
person.
yes, I did
nice?
swoon.
I'm the only
Swoon.
person who can go to Florida and come back with a cold that even Jack London would go, you know what, I'm not going to write about that. Nobody will.
So, where do we see you then around town? Do you perform a lot here in the cities, or you're nationwide?
It's spotty. I'm regional. As Shannon said, there's no reason in the world for anybody to know who the hell I am. But
I didn't mean it that way.
This Friday, I'm at T Buckets.
Oh, you're there again?
Prescott,
That's-
Wisconsin.
yeah, that's where we did our last time.
Somerset, Wisconsin.
Nice.
Yeah.
And they're bringing me back.
T-Bucket.
T-Bucket.
Now, if you go to,
it is free.
If you go to T-Baggers in Key West, whole
You
different
won't see
show.
me. Yeah.
It's a very well paid gig.
Completely different show.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know
it's
about you, but I covered almost half my gas money.
I know. I just hope to cover the salary of the feature act I'm bringing.
Who are you taking
it's
with you?
Chris Miles.
Oh, nice.
Who
Okay.
18 years ago when I started doing comedy, she and I started out at the same time, and she took time off to have kids and get
Family
married
stuff.
and get divorced
Mhm.
and go through rehab and all that other sort of fun stuff that real
I'm glad
comics
she's out
do
on- yeah.
that I never do.
Yeah.
And but she's back.
That's okay.
out
You're not
and
missing
she's-
anything. I
she's
didn't do
awesome.
rehab either. You're fine.
How did we end up the most
Stable of this whole crew.
Stable
I don't
people.
understand that.
There's still time.
Yeah,
There's still
I-
time. You're not over yet.
Like I don't have it. They're like, so when you're on the road and you're an alcoholic, and I'm like, nope, got nothing, got a thing, nothing at all. Just nice and boring.
Does that give her material then? All these life things that she's gone through? Have you new stuff, new jokes for her?
Yeah, she did a few. She emceed a gig that I did at Dangerfields here in town a couple of months back.
Oh, fun.
Down in
Oh,
Shakopee.
She hadn't been
She
on
did that one?
stage for years, and she took the place apart.
Awesome.
Really?
And I had to go on stage after that.
God, when that room works, it works.
Yeah.
That's that's a neat place.
I like watching Joe squirm though, but I mean, we're all
I
mean
know.
like that. We like watching any
Yes.
comedian squirm. We're
Someone
like,
good, Bob.
dig yourself out of that hole.
Yeah, Shannon's been my feature act many times, and I've
I'm
been
like-
her feature act
Yeah.
as well. But I just love it. You know you're screwed when she drops the mic when leaving the stage.
Oh yeah,
Wait
I've
a
done
minute.
that intentionally to him before. I'm all like,
Yeah.
have that one, Mr. Lovitt.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
gotta-
nice nepotism. I've done her feature set. She's done my feature set. Nepotism. Stop.
No, well, I just
Okay,
want a good
Chuck,
show,
you
Chuck.
can
You're lucky
open
I'm letting
for
you
me
open me
next.
for. No,
Aw.
don't.
Aw.
Because listen,
He meant
Chuck,
the door to his limo.
Chuck's
You can
opening
open
for
the
me
door.
next month. Okay, so Chuck's opening for me, and this is how Chuck
Where
is.
at, Shannon?
So
Yeah,
Chuck
yeah.
is opening for me.
No,
and,
you got this backward.
And listen, and that's the way he sent out. He sent out a Facebook invitation about the show that we're both in, and it looks like I'm barely in the show.
She's not in the
It's
show.
like he's like,
the way
come
we
see
all
me
are."
at this whole thing and do all this stuff. And so I just looked at him like, fair enough, Chuck. Got a thing. That's fine.
What I
Chuck
do?
Gallup. Time permitting, Shannon.
Well,
So
she
I
keeps
feel
calling
like
me Gallup,
anybody
so
that comes
that
to see him, I just like to say
I
it
know
like
you
that
do.
because your face gets all
You just
big.
call me Gallup too.
See?
Here's what I do. I fake colorblindness at the end. I'm like, was I getting the light? I don't see the color red, which we found out at the House of Comedy the other night.
That does not
Yeah.
bode well for
Yeah,
you,
that's-
you know,
I
in the
didn't-
future.
That's discrimination. I don't see red.
From now on, they'll just shoot you in the chest.
Yeah, I think it's funny. Everybody that comes to see the show that knows that Chuck's, they'll be like, "Oh wait, you're done? Oh, why is she still talking? They don't even know there's anybody else on the show. They
Joe,
think it's an hour-long soliloquy with Chuck."
Despair, desperation, sadness, despair.
How would you describe your comedy, Joe, as opposed to Mr. Sunshine over here?
Well, it's a lot about my growing up. It's a lot about having family and kids. It is current events. It is what else is it?
What's
Shannon?
making you laugh currently?
Currently?
You said current events.
If anything.
Gosh, and I wrote a bit about it yesterday, and I can't. The fact that George Zimmerman
Yeah.
got shot again. got shot
not his
at.
fault.
Yeah,
is
shot
it?
at.
I know, but you have to think that the DA in this case, he's going to be like when my parents show up when I'm having problems with my kid. Everything going okay? Huh? Things not going your way? Jeez, that's too bad. What the hell you going to do about it? We can't help you out.
And I think the other reason why you'll enjoy seeing Joe perform is that just as his friend, I mean, he's just super funny off stage as well. Like he's the one that friend that tells stories. I'm like, oh my God, would you make that a bit? And we have other friends that we're like doing the opposite. Stop testing your bits out on me. Can you just talk like normal people? Jeez, come on.
And you know, I have learned never to test bits out on certain people because I'll say, I've got this bit that I'm trying. And you know how we write this stuff? It's punchline and then tag.
Yeah.
After the punchline, they'll stop and go, "Oh, that happened to me once. I remember when I was there." It's just like, you totally missed the point.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and I don't mind if I know, like we're getting together and we're intentionally trying to do bits with each other, that's fine. It's when you're just supposed to be having a beer with somebody and they can't turn off.
Oh, man.
Those are the people that you're like, oh my God, you're killing me. Can we just, I just wanted a
And
Guinness.
we're all still thinking of
But
this
is there
same guy here.
comics
yeah.
in your circle, though, that are just so funny off in their personal life? They just can't help
Yes.
it. I heard a story about how
Yes.
Will Ferrell was making people laugh just by eating a sandwich. And we're talking they're just at lunch.
Right.
There's sometimes, evidently, where Will is just just hanging with his buds.
There are some people that are just inherently
David
funny.
Harris.
Yeah, I think our
Yeah.
friend David Harris.
Yeah.
Like, there's people that are just inherently funny, and there's people who pointedly are
It's not where
testing
they're
things
try-
on you.
yeah,
Got to
yeah,
think.
They're trying too
Yeah,
hard.
yeah.
Michael Thorne
Yeah.
is one of those guys that is off stage, one of the
So
funniest guys
funny.
in the
Yeah.
room. And
So
then,
funny.
you know,
On
and
stage,
years
not
ago
that funny.
when he stopped doing chemicals and everything,
Yeah.
he became that much harder for everybody to top.
Yeah, he's just so funny.
so on his game all the time.
He was a guest on our show, and last week I featured for him, and we drove out to Wisconsin together, did the whole set together, and he drove me back.
Yeah, he's great.
He is just a
Absolutely.
phenomenal guy.
Dave Mortal is another one of those off stage.
Yeah.
I just go, and that's not one of your bits.
Like, no, I'm just
Why
talking.
would I do that?
God rest his comedy soul. He said he's done with
quit-
comedy.
yeah.
Well, we
Quit
talked
doing
about our
stand-up.
friend Tim Harpston, who's one of our friends
Yeah.
that actually been on Letterman,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And he has a better Letterman story than Isaac Whitty because he actually was on when Letterman was there.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so,
We
so
gotta
he
get
got
him
to-
on. I wanna hear
Yeah,
that.
he's a great guy
Yeah.
too, and just funny, just in real life all
He and
the
his
time.
wife are going to come on and promote some of their stuff. They got some.
Oh, good, yeah.
He's married to Mary Mack, another
Oh,
comedian.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
Very good.
So what's where can we? Because now we love you. So where can we see you? Where you got gigs around town? or-
well, right now, this thing in Wisconsin is the only thing I got coming
Okay.
up.
All right.
Are you still doing your
I'm
improv stuff?
I'm doing improv. I'm with Stevie Ray's Comedy Cabaret.
He's
and
got
I'm gonna
something
be there
happening
May
at
30th.
Chanhassen, right?
Yes, they are permanently residing
I'm
in
gonna
the
be
basement
there.
of the Chanhassen. Really?
There's a media
For what?
event next Friday for the Stevie Ray thing.
Nice.
Oh, yes, I am going to be there that night because it is media day for Stevie Ray's. We are trying out our new format.
Sweet.
Where it is not all just improv. We are also doing a few
Nudity?
Yeah, full frontal and
Yeah,
armpit sex.
Nice.
That's all it's.
Yeah.
That's all they'll allow at the.
It's
at
a
the
dinner
Chan.
show.
Hey.
It's a comedy dinner show. I mean, at least that media night is.
It is. They don't normally, have the big menu downstairs, but people can order some bar food and stuff at Stevie's.
Okay, all right.
But I'll be there on the 30th. I'm not a member of the regular company anymore, but I am the leader of their corporate touring group.
Oh, cool.
Which pays better.
Yes. So I've heard.
Yeah, we keep going. Yeah, some of us do corporate, and we'll just do that kind of thing.
But man, I was the house MC there for 2 years, and that was one of the best things I could have done to hone my stand-up.
How'd you fuck it up?
I know. Well,
Now I have
did
to check
as a-
explicit. It's the first swear word yet.
Yes.
Thanks, Rusty.
Yeah, well, you could talk with Stevie about that. I was put on a timeout in September, and I won't go into it. Because I am currently back and in
Mrs.
good
Lovitt.
standing with the group. And when I left, I was in good standing with the group. He made a point of saying that, but we all re-auditioned for our slots, and we
Okay.
all got them back, and with some new people joining as understudies and whatnot.
That has to be
But,
really frustrating when you do comedy and then you have somebody that like puts you on a timeout or something like that. And it's like, wait, we're just doing comedy. Do you get to take it all seriously like that? But I guess you do.
Yeah,
it happens.
evidently, the word is some people said I was too sarcastic.
But you're
And I said,
sarcastic all the
"Doing-
time."
Doing comedy?
you
I
went,
was too
"Yeah, right."
sarcastic?"
That is so funny because
And
that
then-
if
And I asked them for a specific example. They just said, "Well, these are just emails that we've gotten from some people." And I said, "Can you name specific ones?" And one person said, "Well, I can name one. A woman said that you had said something dirty to a group of bachelorettes." And I said, "You know what? I
Oh,
can
the ones with penises pinned to their shirts? Yeah.
yeah." And I said, "You know what? I can tell you exactly what I told them because I handle bachelorette parties the same way every time. I engage the bachelorette and I say, so are you looking forward to moving in and blending all of your belongings together and everything?" And 9 times out of 10 she says, "Well, we're already living together." And I go, "Oh, wow, the sexual tension must be incredible." And so I'm making myself look like an idiot and not embarrassing her. But the word from the people in the audience was, "You made that girl's mother so embarrassed." And I wanted to say, "You don't think she doesn't know her daughter is living with this guy?"
One
If
email,
that's-
man.
All it takes is one email, and
I got suspended from my TV gig for a Richard joke, and it cost me a lot of money.
I love the story, Rusty. Yeah.
What is a Richard joke?
I've told it before. Did I ever tell it on the air?
No, we've told me.
Oh,
Personally.
this is since I'm not beholden anymore to past people.
It's okay. I work for Hubbard too.
You do?
Spoiler alert.
I did.
Oh.
For a year.
You,
And,
that name sounds familiar. I should know that
I
name.
was on U.S. Satellite Broadcasting. I was one of the on-camera talent, 24 hours a day, telling
yeah.
people what was coming up that month on
Wow.
HBO
Okay.
and everything.
Nice.
I never slept.
Anyway, we were Patrick Hammer, who is no longer with Hubbard as well. We were at the State Fair. He loves Steely Dan. We're at a show. They were doing deep tracks. Patrick knows every song. He's singing to a song that I didn't know to start the concert. What's that?
Bodhisattva.
Probably. I don't know. A guy in front of us who looked like a Hell's Angel turns around and yells at Patrick to shut the F up. Can't say fuck in this podcast.
Twice. I got to check it twice.
Check it.
What the fuck are you checking?
When you're on my
The explicit
podcast,
box.
when you're on my podcast, you can't. I will poke you in the throat if you use that. I do not click explicit on my podcast.
I will not do that ever again.
No, you fucking do it. At this point.
This is your show. I'm
Fuck
just enjoying your company.
I'm sorry. So
I'm
as
not
I talk
joining
about
the
being
fray on
suspended
this.
for saying a naughty
Richard
word,
Richard Joe.
yeah. So I tell the guy, I go, wow, have you never been to a concert before? People do sing at concerts. And he cut me off. He goes, you too, traffic faggot.
Wow.
He knew you.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
Wait,
So
I don't do traffic.
An optimist would go, hey, he recognized me.
It's a lie.
So
Did you write it in your diary?
We sang every song louder, and even if I didn't know the lyrics, I was watermelon, watermelon. So the next morning at 5 a.m., I'm live at the State Fair, and Patrick throws to me for the first toss, and he's like, hey, you look pretty good for being up all night. And then I say, I know, we were at that Steely Dan concert. And then I continue to say, can you believe the guy in front of us?
Oh, boy.
And then Patrick goes, I know, I was just telling Vanita and Brad about him. And then I say, gee, I hope his name was Richard. I called him Dick all night.
That's it? Oh, wow.
You know how many emails we got?
1.
Zero.
Well.
Not one complaint. I got marched up to the office, and it cost me a lot of dough.
Wow.
A lot
Okay,
of
I
dough.
He can't say how much. It's
okay, now
substantial.
maybe this is an ABC thing because
No. I will continue the story.
Okay.
My buddy, Steve Lovitt, created the show Modern Family. Hit show for ABC. Family viewing hour. He hears about what happened. He's like, you should march back in there and tell Rob to suck your Richard. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't work that way. I really want to keep my job, so I'm just going to have to take the punch and, I just got to take it like a man. He writes a Richard joke into the following, it aired like 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, into an episode.
Nice.
The episode has Cliff saying, I have a fake ID, Richard Hertz. Get it? He goes, do you think Rob saw that? And I go, even if he did.
Wouldn't matter.
No,
wouldn't matter.
So
at
I
all.
get suspended. But their number one 5-time award, Emmy Award winning family show does a Richard joke in.
Gather around, kids.
Jeez.
Yeah. Now, you see, I thought maybe that might have been an ABC thing because I was doing movie reviews for ABC News in New York from here. They would send it out to all of the affiliates weekly. And I never got any feedback on the stuff that I was doing. And I did a review of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels with Steve Martin and Michael Caine. And there was this scene, and this was one of the clips that they sent out for critics to use. There was this scene where Martin is pretending that he is an addled adult. He's sitting at the table, sticking, a fork in his eye with a cork in it so that he doesn't hurt himself. And he says, may I please go to the bathroom? And Michael Caine says, yes, Ruprecht, you may. And he goes, and he just sat there for a moment with his eyes kind of glazing over, and then he went, thank you. And I included that in my review, and they became unglued in New York about that, saying, who do you think you are? Do you think that you're Rex Reed? Google it, millennials. And you think, who thinks that he can put anything on the air and get away with it, and you are treading on thin ice. I was like, man, this is the only feedback I get from you people.
Wow. Was it local ABC affiliate?
No. This was ABC News in New York. It went out nationally over their DEF, Daily Electronic Feed.
Yeah.
And local affiliates had the opportunity to use it if they didn't have their own critics. So I was in Las Vegas and North Carolina, South Carolina, Connecticut, all
Were you
around
doing the
country.
junkets as well then?
No.
Why not?
Because all I did was collect $150 a week from ABC, and they shot it out to everybody. That was it. They didn't pay for me to travel. I was here in Minneapolis.
It just seems so lame that you have to err on the side of caution so much in these days, kind of thing. Because you do have to worry about that. Because we go through that now, even because people are so hypersensitive, and a lot of those those opinions are based upon what they say are community standards and things like that. So you never know when you're going to walk into something. It's very frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, out at Stevie Ray's, I would hear occasionally from cast members who said, you know what, we probably shouldn't have taken that suggestion.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked something of the audience. I threw out, tell me a place where you wouldn't want your friends at church to see you walking into it.
Mhm.
And in my little G-rated mind, I'm thinking liquor store
Right.
or
Yeah.
something like that. And of course, someone says strip club.
Mm-hmm.
And, the guy who stepped forward to do the bit did it as though he was in an actual strip club. And I thought, there's a couple other ways you could take this. You
Right.
could sit down and go, man, this is the best New York steak
Right.
I have ever had in my
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
Which,
we could have done.
Yeah,
Mhm.
anybody could have done. And I think you can make anything dirty into something
Not dirty.
clean. Yes.
But that's just stand up, I think, in comedy as well, is that I think some of us that don't only work clubs, like I try to push myself to go, what's the next thing I can do? If the easy punchline is the dirty one, I try to push the other direction, because then I can use that bit in more places, and everybody doesn't do that. And it is hard sometimes to think through the dirty line that everybody will get, to go to absurd and surprise people. But that's
Mhm.
that's more work for you kind of thing. And
Well,
it's not,
yeah,
and it's
but-
hard, especially I think sometimes when you're doing improv and you need to be so in the moment and just go. Like I can sit down and go, I choose to write this bit. It could take me longer to write it, versus when you're doing something that's improv, where it's like, no, they threw out the suggestion. I need to go right now. What's the first thing that came to mind? And you can't stand there for 5 minutes and wait. You have to
Yeah.
sometimes just go with what you came up with. So that, and especially when you're at a place like Stevie Ray's, which is not. I feel like, especially since they're at Chanhassen Dinner Theater now, that it's a lot more. There's a certain audience, that you get out there versus, if you're at doing a show at Bryant Lake Bowl or a huge theater.
We are in overtime now, which is
sorry.
fine.
Okay.
We're fine. We
So now we can
promised
start swearing.
Yeah.
No one's listening anymore.
We promoted
Go.
these songs we were going to vote on. Do we
Oh,
have
yeah,
a
let's
moment
do
to
that.
do it?
Mhm. Yep.
All right. So here we go. This first one is it's called "Hey Mama." I like it. You've heard it? Who is
Yep.
this? The Beatles.
Yes, I be your woman. Yes, I be your baby. Yes, I be whatever that you tell me when you're ready. Yes, I be your girl. Forever your lady.
Do I want to hear
You
this
ain't
at the
never
beach?
gotta
That's
worry.
the.
I'm down for you.
Do you want to open your sunroof when the song comes on? That's
Oh,
y'all look at that
gosh,
kind of
yeah.
thing. Yeah, all
I
right.
think so. Right?
Yep.
Nicki Minaj, David Guetta.
David Guetta. David Guetta.
And
For
what
us
was
Minnesotans, David Guetta.
Where's the chorus? Where does this bust open?
After this, and it comes back to
I
the
need to
Hey
hear
Mama.
that.
David was on the
David
chart.
Guetta.
What was his last? He had like. I could see it.
David Guetta, I mean, he's one of the hottest producers and
Yeah.
DJs out there.
Yeah, he's had a few.
Oh, like that.
Oh, wow, I like that.
Oh, wow.
You can just hear people yelling this on the dance floor, can't you?
Yes, I do the cooking. Yes, I do.
All right.
That's when you do your roll right. That's when you do your hip roll right there.
Which Shannon is
Ah.
doing right now.
So we like
All right,
it.
what's the
All
next
right,
one?
we
So
like it,
David
we like it.
Guetta,
I
David
managed
Guetta,
to
Nicki
tap my
Minaj.
foot.
Yeah, David Guetta, Nicki Minaj.
How about this for a 90-degree turn?
Oh, American Family Insurance will be co-opting this any day now.
Yep.
Raising up. I'm talking about later on a Saturday night. The band plays
Who's
a
this?
song you
This is Lee
like,
Greenwood, isn't
and
it?
you sing along.
Keith Urban.
Raising
This
up.
is up
I'm
north
talking about
at the
daddy's old
lake
pickup truck,
thing.
shotgun seat. There's
Okay, you
the
mentioned
one
a
you
pickup
love
truck
and
and
you're kissing
shotgun.
on.
Yep.
Get those white sails sailing down in Mexico. It's just
Margarita.
a whiskey glass and
Whiskey.
you ain't making it to
You're driving a truck, you got a
check off
shotgun,
the
and you're
days.
drinking whiskey.
I like this. I would
It's
think
a
I would.
pretty song. It's a very pretty song.
You're a pretty song.
But this is I feel like this is a weekend night, kind of thing. You're sitting out and there's fireflies kind of song. This isn't like my.
I'm on the
My
patio.
summer.
I'm on the patio burning old mail in my fire pit.
Yeah. All right. Nah, I don't know. What's
I don't know.
the
All
next?
right,
It's
so
not
we'll
a
just keep.
Not very
We'll just
yeah,
keep.
rousing.
Summer
It's
needs to be something we can
We'll
all
keep
get
taking
around.
hard turns then. Here we go. Another hard turn. This is
Excuse me.
Big Sean
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
Big Sean. Really? That's up for it.
featuring Drake and Kanye.
Sounds like that sausage.
Has this
egg
been out
cheese
for a
biscuit
while?
is coming back to haunt him.
Again, I'm not a fan of
Too much
rap.
lead up. Sorry. I'm losing interest.
Lost interest.
Well, here's where I lose interest as
Look,
far as being a crowd.
I live the
pleaser.
life I deserve.
Bless.
Bless.
Fuck a vacay, I feel better at work. I mean whatever it's worth, I give whatever I'm worth. For my niggas who gon' go to hell and back for me, I'ma give them heaven on earth for a hell of a check, yeah, whichever come first. Blessings on blessings on blessings. Look at my life, man, that's lessons on lessons on lessons. I treat the beat like it's a reverend. I tell the truth like, Father, forgive me, these are all my confessions, man, this wasn't luck.
I'm not having fun right now.
No, and the thing about Drake is such a lazy rapper. I mean, he rhymes every song. Every song he has one line where he rhymes the same line with the same word. It's just cheating. Worth. That was worth, and then his next line is because it was worth, you know. And I'm not a big word, you know. He uses the N word for no reason in his track. I'm not a big fan of that, you know, just not.
And if I opened up the sunroof in my neighborhood with this song,
over in the GV,
shut it,
throwing down in the GV with the Lovitts.
That's right, Golden Valley.
Chuck would pull you over if he heard this.
Oh yeah.
I would close my sunroof. I mean, oh my God, I didn't know that he was going to say that so loud. I'm sorry.
However, like that scene in Office
This came
Space.
on right after my Ariana Grande song. I'm so sorry.
I'm that
sorry.
white guy in the scene
Speaking
for
of
Office
which-
Space singing rap, and on comes that song.
This is Ariana
Grande. Okay.
This is an Ariana Grande song.
This is one of the songs I sing in my car really loud.
One last time, this is potential to be the song of this summer.
Still not hearing a blurred line.
It gets a little better. You know what I'm saying?
Chuck, keep your shirt on. What are you doing?
Badoing.
Shannon's in it.
And now I recognize it.
See, now here's the thing with this song. I love this song. I will lip sync to this song all day. But I don't think it's a good summer song because it is so relationship driven and so female perspective of all this one. I'm like, I don't feel like it's something that is just a universal great song. Like, you're not going to be, you know, when you hear it, you don't want to leap up out of your chair. So the ones you did, at least I can go, well, when that other one came on, I can grab whatever guy I'm with and go, we are going to dance to this Nicki Minaj, David Guetta song. And then go, I don't want to dance. I'm like, you're dancing, get up. You know, and I'm fine with that because we can both enjoy it together. And at least he's good at pretending that he enjoys that one.
A summer song needs to have a universal hook.
Right.
And if not one, several. I had read an article about why ABBA was so popular.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, people dissected their songs, and Dancing Queen is one of the most perfect singles ever written because there are so many elements that stand alone. Those chords, da-dun, da-dun, da-dun.
Yeah. It's identifiable immediately. I think that you want something that makes you smile, or it's that one that
This
if you've
song
had
here
some
is none of
cocktails, you
these.
jump in it.
Well, I think you're missing the N word, which I feel is very universal. I relate to the word. I feel like I can say it anyway.
You can tell our president that's what he is.
That was in the original version of ABBA's Nina Pre-Ballerina.
This song is a wild card. I like it. It's unusual. It's by a band called Unknown Mortal Orchestra. Anyone? Everyone heard of Unknown Mortal Orchestra? It's called Can't Keep Checking My Phone.
Friends of Daft Punk, perhaps?
It's got a little retro guitar going there.
Wow. That has instruments I recognize. That's a good thing.
Surf guitar there for a moment.
That bass line sounds familiar. What are they sampling?
Tap punky.
It is.
Yeah.
It's not Get Lucky, though.
You're right, it is not. But it
it's
makes me
kinda
want to get
cool.
my roller skates out. I'm cool. I can get my roller skates out.
If this was
Here's the
playing,
part where I roll backwards. That's okay.
if this was playing at a party I was going to, I'm like, oh, some hip people live here.
I like it. It's just you still can't get involved with it.
There's nothing distinctive about it.
Just the jangly retro,
How
I
about
guess. and
if they substitute the N word?
No, I'm not going to fix
How about
it
the
for me.
Jew word?
I like this song, though.
Yeah.
It's not my summer anthem.
Yeah, it's not summery. It's like a beer. It has to have a certain aftertaste.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. I
Okay,
played
one
you.
more.
Hold on just a second.
yeah.
Before you play the last one, what was last summer's song? 2 summers ago, it was Blurred Lines. Last summer's was what? Happy or was it?
Happy was
No.
because Happy was like the whole year. It was
Was it Get Lucky?
no, because that was
Daft
before
Punk?
that.
Or
It
was
was what was it? Because it was
Googled it. I don't know.
Yeah, we can't.
My friend Sieber and I were talking about that, and that was the whole thing is that we kept waiting for one song to really hit, and then we ended up going, well, we're just going to use this one, and now I can't remember what it was.
Royals by Lorde was a couple summers ago.
Oh, no, you know what it was? I think the summer song, and this is why I don't think it stuck out, it was that Rude. Why you gotta be so rude? That one,
that reggae flavored.
That one. It was that one, and
that,
but it was still another. People sang along to it because it did kick in with that. Marry that girl, marry her anyway. But it wasn't super peppy. But that was a song that I think
had reggae
counted as it, and you still felt, and you sang along to it.
The list of the top summer songs of 2014.
Okay,
Maroon 5. Somebody threw in Maroon
I'll throw you the
5
top
last
three.
week.
The top three. Problem by Ariana Grande, featuring Iggy Azalea. Rude by Magic.
Magic, see?
And then
Fancy by Iggy Azalea.
Okay, Fancy. Oh, Fancy. I love Iggy Azalea because everybody hates it.
What about All About That Bass?
And the N-Word by Joe Lovitt. But you can hire from corporates, guys.
Has anyone heard of a band called Saint Motel?
Yes. Oh, My Type. Is that on the list?
That's my pick.
Oh, we
Here
could
we
do that.
All right, yes.
Yeah, we could do this one.
I'm in.
And this is going to be on TV. They just got signed for a really big, commercial deal. This is a good one. You think of Showgirls in this one? They have Showgirls. It'll be great.
Oop.
Song of the summer, we think?
I think
Let's
we should
do
do
it.
My Type.
And I believe my shorts just came off, too.
I'm jumping in the pool
Yeah,
right
we
now.
can do that. Yes. Well done, Game B.
We're all going to Joe's house.
Honey, can we have ribs?
All right, well, there you
There
go.
you go, Game B. Yeah.
All
You
right.
saved the best for last.
Well, thanks for coming in. It was nice meeting you. Thanks for going overtime with us.
Yeah. Where can we find you on what's your website, Twitter?
JoeLovitt.com.
Yep.
LOVITT. JoeLovitt.com.
Beautiful. JoeLovitt.com.
And if you want even more updated stuff, friend me on Facebook. I friend everybody.
Oh. You're that guy.
Charles Manson is like, quit messaging me, you idiot.
Hey, you know what? And just as this song is playing out here, I just want to remind everyone, check our website, check our Facebook page, check our Twitter. We have exciting news. You can come out next Thursday. We're going to be at the Chart House in Lakeville. The time's not 100% certain, but probably 4 p.m.
At 5. It's going live 5 to 6 is what I hear. But we'll know more next week.
Yes, so come on
We're
out.
not here Monday. Just rerun this show all weekend, all right?
Yes. Same hotel. Just
we'll
put it on
see you.
loop.
We'll be back live here on Tuesday and then hitting the deck all summer long, starting Thursday. All right, have a happy Memorial Day, everybody.
Twin Cities
Let's make
Hit Show.
summer happen in Minnesota. Was that a mosquito? God damn it.
Man who's got hair.